Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to BNR. It's me, Gene, your daily transfer show. It's Friday. Fridays is generally a good day for Liverpool. Liverpool generally release some sort of news on a Friday. Our transfers have, if I look back over the years, Friday always seems to be a good day. It's Friday, guys. We are in talks with a few players. We're in talks with Ekatike, and we will see how the day pans out. But first and foremost, guys, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and become a member if you want to. But yeah, it's daily transfer show. Where do we start? Look, I think it's fair that we start obviously with the forward line. We received some news regarding Luis Diaz today, and Juma Mubarak to everybody. MHS goes who go Friday. We hope it is. We hope we receive some sort of news. But let's start with the news that filtered through this morning regarding Luis Diaz. I'm going to pick up. I'm going to pull up the tweets from mostly from Germany, from Bayern Munich sources regarding news. We obviously got told that the news regarding that Luis Diaz wasn't for sale, but it seems that there's a slight shift in that, and that Luis Diaz, Bayern Munich have come to terms agreement into regarding his terms, and we'll speak about what they've said. So here we go. I will add the first tweet up. Oh, where did it gone now? There we go. Bayern. Okay, let's start with the terms then. Bayern Munich have agreed terms for Luis Diaz, who is set to receive a 4-year contract in Munich until summer 2024 and earn an estimate 14 million per year. This could increase through performance bonuses. And I saw a tweet regarding what that sort of breaks down. It's around 240, 250 euros a week for Luis Diaz. And to be fair, if that's the type of money that he's going to get at Bayern Munich, it is fair play. You can't really begrudge him, because I don't think he would have got anywhere near that type of money at Liverpool, especially being 28 on a 4-year contract. So obviously we're not going to be offering him a contract. That's been made crystal clear over the last week, especially over the last month. So yep, Bayern Munich are in for this player. There was some more news. I will bring that up. Same person, Bayern are making progress for Luis Diaz. After Liverpool's initial not-for-sale stance, there are indications that things are really moving forward and that concrete negotiations can begin soon. A meeting between Bayern and Liverpool is planned soon. Interesting. And Pletigol goes, FC Bayern are continuing to push to sign Luis Diaz. Negotiations and talks with Liverpool and the players' camp are ongoing. I think it's fair to say that over the last week, we're beginning to see some sort of shift regarding Luis Diaz and Liverpool's stance. Liverpool made it crystal clear. Luis Diaz will only really be able to leave if Liverpool are able to bring in a replacement who, number one, is minimum at the level of Luis Diaz, or a slightly higher level. And over the last week, we've seen Liverpool linked with Rodrigo from Real Madrid. So it's beginning to make sense. We're beginning to see, the domino effect that we've spoke about. Rodrigo get that deal more or less closed off and ready if we manage to get that deal done, and then Luis Diaz will be moved on to Bayern Munich. Look, I think Luis Diaz has made it crystal clear that he wants to leave the football club. I think that's mainly simply because he's been told that Liverpool are not going to be offering you a contract extension, and he's 28. We're not going to be offering him a contract. This is probably his last big contract, and I can understand it, if I'm honest with you, from his perspective. Sorry, guys, I've got a bit of a sore throat today. So fair play to him. As long as Liverpool get their fee, Liverpool will move on and bring in an able replacement if Rodrigo is that player. And for somebody, if you were to get around the 75 million pound mark, then it seems like, okay, we've got the player in for the money that we wanted. and it seemed like that money will be used towards the Rodrigo deal, and and we're getting a player that's 4 years younger, played at the highest level, a Brazilian international. He offers us practically everything Luis Diaz has offered, and who has a ceiling, who's pretty high ceiling. Everybody who watches the channel knows I was a big Anthony Gordon fan, but I'm obviously going to be over the moon if we manage to get Rodrigo over the line. And look, if we look at both the Luis Diaz and Rodrigo, Luis Diaz had I'd say obviously a better season last season at Liverpool. It was probably his best season, and Rodrigo didn't really have the best of seasons. The season prior to that, I thought he was when they won the Champions League. I thought Rodrigo was really, really good, but he has primarily been playing from the right hand side and not in his favoured position. And Luis Diaz, to be fair, had a really, really good season. 13 goals, 7 assists. I think in the Premier League, that's decent numbers. I think it was 7 assists or 6 assists. That's good numbers if you look at what his numbers were for the seasons prior to that. I called for output from him, and he produced. So all in all, I think Liverpool, Diaz, Bayern, and if we manage to get Rodrigo, I think every party will be happy here. We get the player we want. Luis Diaz gets his move and his payday, and Bayern Munich are desperate for a winger of of Luis Diaz's ilk. So fair play. If that's the fee that's sort of agreed, and it's moving towards that sort of figure, Liverpool will get their door, and we will bring in a replacement. So it's interesting times. Rodrigo, look, we spoke about him, especially quite a bit at length over the last few days. Um, Quick one then, guys. If you had a choice to keep Luis Diaz or sign Rodrigo, what would you do? Question to the chat and everybody in there. Keep Luis Diaz or sign Rodrigo? You're gonna have to help me out today, guys. I'm not feeling too well, so you are gonna have to help me out. Bloody hell, it looks like it. Wow. I will go through. Kirat goes sign Rodrigo, Luis Rodrigo, running down the wind Rodrigo, Al-Faki Rodrigo, Nivsa Rodrigo, Kibria Rodrigo. It looks like everybody is practically on the Rodrigo train. Ash goes, Ash, keep Diaz and sign Rodrigo. You're asking for too much there, man. We can't do that, especially with Ekitike coming in. To be fair, I think Red Gorilla goes, put a poll up, mate. I don't think I need a poll by the sounds of it. It looks like it's 90%, close to people wanting Rodrigo over Luis Diaz, and I get that. Look, I understand that the a few Diaz shouts, but I think I'm probably on the now. Seeing I wasn't a big fan of Rodrigo, and everybody knows that. We watched the show 3 or 4 days ago. I looked at his right hand side, his stats, everything, and the eye test. I wasn't fully sold on him. But when I saw his stats and some compilations of him when he plays on the left hand side in his favoured position, it's only then you realize that this guy is a really, really good footballer, and if he was to move in his favoured left hand side position, this guy has the attributes to really, really go to the next level. He's pressing, he's a pressing machine. He works so hard for the team. Especially at Real Madrid, because Vinicius and Mbappe don't actually do a lot of running. When he really, really works hard for the team. So it makes sense to bring him in. I mentioned before, 12 GAs in 12 starts on the left-hand side last season shows you that, this guy in his favourite position is a brilliant footballer. And what I do really like about him is he offers a massive threat just outside the box. A lot of it, I've seen quite a few bangers from him outside the box when he cuts inside and he lets loose. And I think we missed that. Cody Gakpo's got a decent strike in him and does manage to get us a few goals. But Luis Diaz, have we seen some goals where he's come inside and hit a few belters into the top corner or gone inside? Not really seen that from him. Especially over the years, because I was looking forward to that when we signed him from Porto, because he did that quite regularly for Porto, but he never really materialised at Liverpool. Maybe it's a tactical thing, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see how Rodrigo pans out. And yeah, it seems like there's movement regarding Luis Diaz, which will then make sense that Liverpool will go in for Rodrigo. And it's funny because I looked at the there was a tweet that came out afterwards. I'll bring it up, and it said, where's it gone? Which was the tweet that came up? It was this one. No, 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 not that one. Not that one. Have I missed it? Yeah. It was from Ian Doyley from the Echo, and he said that and he was talking about the forward line, and he mentioned, he goes, the move for Ekitike then isn't the conclusion of the Reds' forward business in the transfer market this summer. It's merely the beginning. Wow. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I read that, I was like, you know what? We mean business, mate. We really mean business. And I called it the summer of madness. I could sense that Liverpool were going to go hard. They were going to go big. They were going to make a statement in this window. And boy, are we making statements left, right, and centre. If this is the case, then and Ekitike is the one that will. It seems that he's the one that's going to be coming in. You can see that Liverpool are going to be bringing in at least one or maybe two in the forward line this season. And if that's what Doyley said, it makes you think that, you know what? And Taylor goes, I'll bring it. He goes, Ian Doyle's tweet makes me think we're looking at more than just Ekitike and Rodrigo right now. The club are looking to build for today and the future. That's interesting, isn't it? Because we were talking about it yesterday that Liverpool, if they were to bring in an Ekitike and a Rodrigo, there's still room where we might go and bring in an experienced forward, maybe around the 40 million pound mark. And I know we mentioned a Mateta or an Ollie Watkins. Wissa was mentioned as well from in the chat yesterday. So you never know. And then there was shouts that Liverpool might even go by Anthony Gordon with a Rodrigo. And where Rodrigo, there's going to be so much interchanging in positions. I can't see that. I think he'll be more of a forward. But wait, I'm going Aki. All right, sorry, yeah, bloody hell. Vishal goes, I need Aki. I'm doing Aki Bunja while listening to your show. Big up, mate. Needles all over. Big up. But yeah, it just goes to show that Liverpool are really, there's a lot of business that Liverpool are going to do this summer. And we called it a summer of madness. It feels like it's going to be a summer of madness. And there's a lot of business to do. We've got the highlights of Harvey Elliott that will probably be leaving. There might be, Diaz leaving. Darwin obviously is going to be leaving. The Chiesa leaving. There's a lot of business to still do and a lot of incomings that will come in through the door. And I'm not going to lie, when I read that tweet, I was pretty happy, thinking, you know what? We mean business. We're going to go in strong. And I don't want to, I'll be honest, obviously for me, Isak is probably one for the future now. But it begs the question, doesn't it? Not all real journalists has come out and said no. I'm not saying we're going to sign Isak. I probably think Ekitike is the one. But what I'm trying to say is no real journalist has come out and said we've completely moved on. We're done. Al-Faki goes, there's Dork as well, which is another shout. We don't know what's going to happen with him. We'll want big money for him, around the 25 million pound mark, if he was to leave the football club. So it feels like there's going to be a lot of business regarding a lot of movements in the forward line. We've still got movements in the defensive part of it. With Mark Gay, we don't know what's happening with Kanate. Hopefully he will sign, and it'll be interesting to see where we go. But truthfully, guys, question to you guys: how many forwards do you think we bring in? Let's say Ekitike is one, and Rodrigo's two. Do you believe that Liverpool will bring in, especially going by Doyley's tweets, that Liverpool will go in and bring in a minimum one more forward? Or do you think that's probably it? It's probably going to be Rodrigo and Ekitike, and we won't bring in any more, and that Chiesa will stay, and we'll maybe move a couple on. Quite a few twos. So there goes three, Nathan two, Kashif. Wow, you're very confident, man. You're saying four. You're saying four. Sayyid 2, Ahil 2, SNH 2, and Rumi goes now 2, and we keep Chiesa, Ganto 3 forwards. Yeah, look, it feels like 2 is going to obviously be the bare minimum with Diaz and Darwin leaving. But I genuinely feel like Liverpool might make a move for another forward, that would make complete sense. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with Chiesa. I like Chiesa. I loved him when we signed him. I was a massive, massive fan of him. Never really got going last season, injuries, illness at the start of last season. Then, didn't really do it. He'd get short glimpses. He'd come on tonight and show, glimpses that, what, he's still got that in him to be able to, make a difference, come on and make a difference. But then he'd give us games where you think, bloody hell, Preston game, other games that not Preston, sorry. There's games where I watched and I thought, wow, didn't really do it for us. And the writing's on the wall for him, because he's been here for a year. It was a signing that we took a chance. It was an opportunistic signing, the word that's used by the club, and we took it. Did it really work out? Probably not. World Cup year, we get 15 million for him. Liverpool sell, probably. I would keep him. I think his versatility is good. He can play left, right, or forward. And we saw him playing in the forward line in the last game. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I agree with Rumi. Rumi goes, Chiesa will surprise us all. Watch this space. I'm with you, mate. I think there's a player then. I think if he gets a chance, a little run of games, maybe, if you bring in Ekitike and he's the second forward, he gets a lot of minutes under his belt. Might work out for him. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with Chiesa. But I'm confident that Liverpool might bring in 3 forwards now. And it'll be some window this. And we talk about windows of Liverpool, honestly, and I mentioned this before. From my Liverpool perspective, this is the greatest window we've ever seen in the history of Liverpool Football Club by a country mile. Literally by a country mile. This is like unprecedented times. We've all wanted a window like this. We've craved it for so many years that, we just go hard, go big, and yeah, this is where we're at. And I hope and pray that Liverpool really, really make a real go of it and bring in the players that we want: a Mark Gay, a Ekitike, a Rodrigo, one more, and guys, I think we're good to go then. So I'd be confident. Rodrigo, Dame goes, Rodrigo, feelings, Gene. Look, I'm not the feelings guy. That's not me. That's Asim. He's the one who does the feelings. I just ring him up saying, look, who we link to? Tell me, yeah. I'm not that type of guy. That's not for me. The ITK and all that game's not for me. The info game's not for me. I just want to watch the game, man. I want to watch the game. I'm all about emotion and stuff like that. This other stuff isn't for me. Avi and Asim can take over that. Right, here we go. I've just seen a tweet come through from the Anfield sector. Liverpool may cash in on Luis Diaz if Bayern get close to £80 million, and there's been some talk that Rodrigo could come in as a replacement. Alex Crook. Wow, interesting. Just bear with me 1 second. My little door's gone on one. But yeah, Alex Crook, what we've been talking about. If Liverpool get the fee, Rodrigo will come through the door. And I think that's what mostly, that's what will happen now. I think that's where everybody's at. Liverpool's at. I think Rodrigo, it will be an update to see. We'll wait and see what happens with Rodrigo, because he hasn't really started any World Club Cup games. And that was a big, it was a sign to him saying, look, I like Arda Güler from Alonso. If you want to find a club, go and find a club. And I think that's what if you're Rodrigo now, Arda Güler's ahead of you, you're not getting in anywhere else. It's probably time to leave the football. You've been there, you spent a good number of years, you won trophies. I think even last season there was murmurings about Arsenal being linked to him, and he didn't leave. He came out and said, I want to stay. And now he's probably wanting to think, okay, you know what? It makes sense. I know Liverpool have got the super agent involved in this deal as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that sort of dynamic with the deal, because let's just say, let's see how it pans out. Because if we've got that super agent involved, Pino Zahavi, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I'm confident. Look, I think if Liverpool want players now, Liverpool, the people, anybody who Liverpool go for, they see this team, they see this plan, it makes complete sense. And yeah, look, people are mentioning that, SNH, Saudi planning a £350 million bid for Vinny. I can't see Vinny Jr. leaving for Saudi right now. It'd be ridiculously stupid of Vinny to do that right now. He's at his prime. He's going for Ballon d'Ors. trying to go for Ballon d'Ors. Probably if he was at Saudi, he's nowhere near going to win the Ballon d'Or. He probably will stay here for at least a few years. Might go to another club. At that other club, I don't know who that is, but I think he'll probably stay at Real Madrid. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Yes, Saudi. Yeah, they are offering him absolute stupid money, and but I think he'll stay. Maybe that he can always go there. Bloody hell, guys! Asim just put this up. Only 92 likes. For fuck's sake, people! Come on, guys! Let's smash the like button. There's only 92 likes so far. There's nearly 400 of you in here. Let's at least get it up to 200. So come on, let's smash the like buttons. Rumi goes, Gina, Oscar went to China at 24. Look, he did. And he wasn't a Ballon d'Or candidate, was he? If I'm honest. And he was at Chelsea. He wasn't a Ballon d'Or candidate. Winnie is a Ballon d'Or candidate, and he has been for the last couple of years. And he's just been, he never won it. Obviously, Rodri won it over him. I can't see Vinny moving to Saudi just yet. But I mean, it's interesting to see what happens with that, because if he does, then I can't see Rodrigo leaving. But I don't think he will. I think Rodrigo's time's up at Real Madrid, and if Luis Diaz, if we've given encouragement to Bayern and are in talks, that shows you that there's encouragement that Liverpool are close to agreeing a deal with another player, because we made it categorically clear that we are not selling Luis Diaz, and in the background probably thinking, yes, we will sell him only for the fee that we want, number one, and we are able to bring in an able and a replacement who's gonna improve the football team. So yeah, I think we will have made inroads for a player, at least two sorry, at least two. And yeah, look, another question to the pool: what fee should you accept from Bayern Munich, given that Bayern Munich are a bit desperate? They need players. And we've seen some people put up that Mbeumo's gone for, was it 65, 70 million pounds to Man United just now. What fee should Liverpool deal with for Luis Diaz? And how much would you accept? What's the least you would accept for Luis Diaz, so we can go in and buy Rodrigo? I'll be honest, I think at the start of the summer, I would have probably been happy with around 60 million. But looking at everything now, I don't think I'd sell him for less than 70 million pounds. No chance. Especially if it's probably more, I would have gone for a bloody hell. Adnan goes 80 million. I don't think we're getting 80. Wow, there's a few 80s. Kashif goes 80. James 77. Lauren 70. Billa 65. 65. Rumi 75 plus add-on 70. I think 70 is a fair price, if you ask me. Probably a fair deal for everybody. David, you're living in Cloud Cuckoo, mate. If you think we're getting 88 million for him. Wow, there are a few 80s, man. Tamil goes 90. You're definitely living in Cloud Cuckoo. There's no way we get 9. And no way Bayern will pay that money for a 28-year-old. I know they paid 100 million for they paid 100 million for Harry Kane, but not for Luis Diaz, man. Atik, 70 million sterling minimum. Yeah, I think, look, 70 plus 5, 70 plus 5. Heart of Football goes 80 is fair, considering Bayern are our Champions League rivals. Anfield sector tweet Gene. Here we go. Nathan, let me check it. Big up Josh. Josh is always the guy, reliable guy, man. If I need any info, just type in Anfield sector and you've got whatever the latest news is. R.E. Rodrigo, it's important to understand. Right, let's read it. R.E. Rodrigo, it's important to understand the player in an ideal world would like to remain at Real Madrid. However, is set for crunch talks with Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid over his role in the team. His entourage are exploring his departure just in case. I mentioned this, that, he probably does want to stay, but you're not going to be playing, mate. And the World Club Cup made it crystal clear that Xabi Alonso likes Arda Güler. In that inside channel. So if that's the case, then where's he gonna play him? It just doesn't make sense for him, a player like him in a World Cup year, to be playing on the bench. and he needs to move on. He needs to move on for his own good. And if it's Liverpool, then I'm all in. And if it isn't him, look, if he wants to stay at Bayern Munich and isn't fully leaning towards leaving, are we still wanting a player that who probably still doesn't really want to leave? He's only leaving because of he doesn't have a choice. I want a player that comes who wants to wear the shirt, who's willing to give every single thing for this shirt. And that's really important. And we've seen that with Ekatike. He waited for the Liverpool move. As soon as we came in, every other club, we blissed every other club out of the water. And one of the most important things is he wants to play for us. We are his dream. He wants to play for us. He said no to Newcastle practically straight away. And, there was links to him with United, Chelsea earlier in the window. So that's the type of player I want. A player that's willing to run through doors, run through bloody anything, and willing to give everything. I'm not saying Rodrigo wouldn't do that if he was to come to Liverpool, but there are players who are willing to give everything and more. And one of them players is Anthony Gordon. There might be people in here that might not like him, right? Transitional player, they called him. Yeah, okay, people can have that. But one thing, there's a few traits that Liverpool miss that Anthony Gordon has. I've said that we need, and I've not just for Anthony Gordon, I said we need a player that's got pace, a winger that's got blistering pace, that's got pace who can run in behind. Anthony Gordon possesses bagloads of that. Yes, Rodrigo might be a better footballer, technically sound, technically better than Anthony Gordon. But what Rodrigo gives us is what Anthony Gordon gives us is he will give us everything. This is one thing that Luis Diaz gave us, and we lauded him for. Is yes, at times he might not have had the numbers, but he worked his absolute socks off. And Liverpool and Anthony Gordon gives you exactly that. He would work his socks off. If it's his boyhood club, he'd do anything for this move. You could tell he was practically heartbroken when he didn't get the move last season, because the first month and a half of the season he didn't even play that well because he didn't get the move that he really wanted. And I know he's not coming off his best of seasons, but the season prior to that, he was arguably one of the best left wingers in the league. And it's not easy to put up 10, double figures in goals and assists in any Premier League season. So if Liverpool want him, and we all know that they did a year ago, Arne Slot wanted him. Arne Slot wanted two players last summer, and that was Gordon and Zubimendi. We didn't get both. Obviously, Zubimendi was off the table this year because we didn't want him. It'll be interesting to see, and Wade Nelson goes, Gordon price tag. And I think this is what is the most important thing. We have to see what the price tag is for this player. Because if I was Anthony Gordon, rewind the clock 12 months, I wanted to go to Liverpool. I didn't get my move. My heart was set there. It didn't happen. Liverpool wanted me, but Newcastle then ended up not selling me. If I was not, I won't. And then they present a contract in front of me for 150 or 160 grand a week he's on. There is no way I do not put in a contract stipulation in there regarding my boyhood club. There is no way I would sign that contract without having that in there. So it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because if he hasn't done it, then you know what, allow him. I'm not paying 90 plus million for Anthony Gordon, because that's the money Newcastle are going to demand from us. There has to be, if there is a release clause, fair play, we go in. If there's no release clause, chutti, mate, I don't want to look at Anthony Gordon, because that's just stupid money for Anthony Gordon. And I don't want to pay 90 plus for any player, if I'm honest. And even Rodrigo, I wouldn't pay 90 million for. So that's where I'm at. If Anthony Gordon, there's a release clause in there, fair play, we go in, because I think it makes sense. If there's no release clause, I wouldn't buy him. Question to everybody in the chat: max you would pay for if Anthony Gordon is the player you want? And I get, look, if Arne Slot wants him, it doesn't matter the fee. But what's the max you would pay for Anthony Gordon if it is Anthony Gordon this summer? Because I'd like to know what people think. Look, again, for me, it'd be 70 million quid maximum. 70 million for me, I am willing to pay, because you got to understand there's English tax, English tax, Scouse, homegrown. These are factors in that we have to keep it take in consideration, because that's what makes sense. we've seen, 55 billion Madueke. Yeah, come on, guys. Madueke for 55. So you have to, you have to try and level it out. Seen 60, 65, 70, 75, 65, 70, 65, 70, 65 max. Yeah, Ash, I know you're his biggest fan, Ash. Swap deal for Dog and they give us 15 million. I know you're his biggest fan, Ash. Big up. Rumi, 55 plus add-on. Screw the English tax. We can't get away from the English tax, mate. That's just the way it works. 60 million. Don't be silly. That is Arsenal tax from Chelsea. Yeah, you know what? That's what P Dex in the lab. Fair play, guys. There's 400 of you in here. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. But I think if I'm looking at it, and this is a fair comment. Raheem Dama goes, Newcastle paid for Elanga 55 plus English tax, yeah, for Gordon. So 865, 85, which is way too much. Look, that's why 70 million makes sense. I think that's a deal that makes sense for all parties. If he is the player that's been earmarked to be the actual replacement. Guys, come on, man. You gave Rishal 50 million. Sort your head out. 50 million for Anthony Gordon. Then yeah, you have to be realistic as well. Please be realistic. Don't come up with the scenarios that you know it's not going to happen. Yeah, exactly. 50 million for Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott is not even a starter at Liverpool. Harvey has never done a 20 GA season in the Premier League only a year ago. Gordon's done that. So, we have to be understanding to the fact. I think 70 max makes sense. So yes, I beg we don't sign Gordon. Come on, guys. I'm on the Gordon train. I know a lot of you ain't. If rewind 12 months, everybody was after Gordon. Everybody wanted him. Yes, he didn't have the best of seasons, but he's still a brilliant footballer. And if he was to move, he would be, for Liverpool, I think he'd be unbelievable. But yeah, Ash, I think that's a fair comment from a lot of people. I'm not a fan, but if Slot wants him, I'd accept it, and he gets my support from day one. 60 million is fair price. And I think that's with a lot of players. Look, we all wanted Alexander Isak. If it's not him, if Ekitike is the one that we're all in for, Slot wants him. I am in for we signing any real player. I will back the manager and I will back the board because, and I've said this many a times previously, if Liverpool are in for a player and we sign him, our hit rate generally has been really, really good. We tend to bring in the players and they tend to do well. Of course, there's some exceptions. Naby Keita, due to his injuries, Darwin Núñez didn't really bang. But most of the players that we bring in make sense. I'm loving the signings that we've done, that we've made so far this summer. And it's a summer of madness. And whoever we bring in, I will support regardless and get behind them. And even with Darwin Núñez, I mentioned him. Most Liverpool fans, even in his first season when he was missing chances, we backed him. Second season, we backed him at the start. And it's only then we began to think, okay, is he going to fit? And we still sang his name, belted his name. Even when he would get an assist, we belted his name. So he had the support. We gave him the support, but it just wasn't meant to be at Liverpool for Darwin. How if wherever he goes, I don't know where he's going to end up now. I think maybe Al Hilal, I was seeing murmurings about him going, them being in for him with Asim and going, close to Galatasaray. So, he might be off to Saudi. We'll receive decent money for him. And we wish him all the best. So whoever Liverpool sign, Liverpool fans will always back their player. We love a number 9. We love, our forward players. And if it is him, then I'm all in. Kaiser Soze, Gene, I want Yildiz. I would love Yildiz, but he's not going to leave this summer. I don't think Juve allow him to leave this summer. I think he stays for one more year, and then the big boys might come knocking on the door, and then Juve might have to cash in because he's an unbelievable footballer. I've rated him for a long time. He's a Turk. I love my Turkish players. I've been following him, and even when he was coming through the ranks, when Chiesa was there, one of their main men, he reminded me of a Chiesa at his prime. So you're talking a prime Chiesa, and I really like the kid, but I just can't see him leaving this summer. I think he'll be next summer. Yeah, look, Lauren goes. Yildiz is renewing anyway, so yeah, I wasn't expecting him to leave this summer. One more year, and I think the big clubs will start coming in for Yildiz. But yeah, guys, I think we've been going for 35 minutes. It's Friday, Prez. I'm gonna have to go. So yeah, it's been an interesting day. There's a lot more to come in the day. I think that we might hear there might be some sort of breaking news over the next few hours regarding Liverpool transfers. We are going today. It's Chip and Cheen tonight. Chip and Cheen tonight. Me, Asim, and Blue Chip Abby will be on tonight. It feels like we haven't been on for a while together, but it'll be good to get us three on. And yeah, look after yourselves, guys. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already, and become a BNR Ultra. More content coming your way. We're putting a lot of things. A lot of things are coming together for this channel, and I just want to thank you for your support over the last couple of years. But big up, and we will all see you tonight. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.